Good afternoon. My name is Robert Walker, and I'm brand manager for retirementhomes.com. Welcome to our December webinar. We are North America's leading online sales and marketing solutions provider, including our housing directory, our online library, and e-newsletters. We also offer, free of charge to senior living professionals, the top experts in senior living every month who will share their knowledge in the fields of marketing, research, sales, and related areas in webinars such as the one you're about to hear. This month, we welcome Kevin Williams of SeniorMarketing.com. Before becoming president of SeniorMarketing.com, Kevin was part of a team that increased occupancy and profits for senior living communities and senior care agencies across the United States. Kevin's presentation, Strategies to Create Authority with Online Reviews and Increase Leads in Just Weeks, will teach how senior living communities, how they can use the power of online reviews to benefit their communities. There will be a Q&A session at the end of the presentation. If you'd like a question answered, raise your hand in the toolbar to the right, type in your question, and time permitting, it will be answered at the end of the session. And of course, you are also welcome to ask a question anytime during the presentation itself. Now please welcome Kevin.
Thank you for that introduction, Robert. And thank you everybody for attending today and taking the time out of your day to listen to this presentation. As Robert said before, the topic of today's conversation is strategies to create authority with online reviews and increase leads in just weeks. And before we begin, I just want to say thank you to Robert and retirementhomes.com. They're a company that really, they understand where the internet is heading and the power of peer reviews. And today we're going to talk about a lot of strategies and why you need to pay attention to peer reviews. And I hope you're taking advantage of everything that retirementhomes.com has to offer. I've got a lot to cover, so I'm going to jump right into it. But before we begin, I'd just like to say, if you stay to the end, we have some really great gifts and handouts. And these are all things that you can use in your business. They're not things that are just filled with fluff. There's reports and some really great gifts. So before I jump into it, who exactly am I and what do I know about senior living? Like Robert said, I used to work for a mature marketing agency. I was hired by them back in 2006 to build out their search engine marketing department. Their Martino and Binzer is their name. They're here. They're on the East Coast, and they're a leading mature marketing agency. And when I was hired, the agency, or the search marketing department, and their interactive department was in its infancy rather. And it was me and this one other kid who were in that department at that time. And when we first decided to grow this program, one of the things we initially did was set up tracking programs. So track all our activities, whether it was online or offline. So we tracked every click, the source of where it came from, every lead, where the source of the lead came from, and ultimately where the new residents were coming from. And we did this through online and offline, and developed a bunch of tools and tracking devices so people can get visibility into where these leads and everything was coming in, their cost per lead, their cost per acquisition. And when you have this kind of visibility into your marketing efforts, it allows you to allocate your resources in the best manner possible. And now I am the president of SeniorMarketing.com, and we are a direct response firm in senior living. And direct response means everything we do is scientific, and it's tracked, and it's designed to produce results. And I like to write particularly about marketing in this industry. I've been published by McKnight's, Long-Term Living, Advanced Long-Term Care, Chicago Tribune, National Real Estate Investor, and I write for Retirement Homes every single month too. So we now live in an age where prospects are seeing reviews, and they're seeing peer reviews of our communities and our care companies before we even get to present them our message. And this is huge. If you think about Amazon, I'm sure I got to use Amazon because mostly everybody has made a purchase from Amazon. And if you made a purchase from Amazon, then most likely you've made reviews. I actually just this past week I bought a wine rack for my father, and before I did that, I did a lot of research online, and one of the most important things was I did a lot of research on Amazon to look at the reviews, and I was looking for quality issues, quality of the product, price issues, and just overall buying information. I was looking for information that was going to help me make a purchase decision, and this is really important because this is now happening with local businesses. And reviews can drive new leads and residents. They help build credibility. They help you stand out on the search engines. They help you increase rank in the search engines, which I'm going to go into more in this presentation. And they're gold mines for marketing intelligence. If you gathered up all the reviews of your communities and your competitors, you can learn your market in their own language, what they liked and what they didn't like. And this is really powerful because it's coming from their own language versus just guessing and assuming that you know the market. So recently my sister moved to Brooklyn, and this was a couple of years ago. And she moved to a new part of Brooklyn in the Williamsburg area. It's an up-and-coming area, and it's pretty trendy if you live down in New York, and it's a fun spot. So this was during the summer, and it was a sunny day, and we decided to go out on a bike ride and just explore the neighborhood because it was up and coming, and she wanted to learn the neighborhood, and I was down there visiting her, and it was a fun day to be out and about. So we went on probably an hour or two bike ride, and we just went through different neighborhoods, and we ended up getting lost. And if you know my sister, she's not the best with directions, so we pulled up to a stop, and we decided, okay, we're not going to get back home anytime soon, so why don't we go grab a bite to eat? So I put here a capture of the search results from my phone that day, and what I did was I did a search for a restaurant in Brooklyn, in the part of the Brooklyn we were in, and this is the results that showed. And one of the things that quickly pointed out to me was that this River Cafe had almost 2,000 reviews when their nearest competitor had 184. And it's important to note that this isn't even the top of the search results. This was more towards the middle of the local business results, which I'll explain more in just a minute. But I just want you to know that this is something that really caught my eye, because immediately I thought, why does this restaurant rather have so many different reviews? So I clicked into the reviews, and they were all great reviews of this restaurant. So I said to my sister, I said, hey, let's check this out. It's only about 2 miles away. Let's just ride over there. And so we get over to the restaurant, and as soon as we opened the door, I realized why this restaurant had so many reviews. Right on the wall, as soon as you walk in, there was this poster. It had a big raindrop icon, and it said we're on the map, and it was in red, and it was the headline was in yellow, and it was really apparent. It stood out. Underneath it had this square barcode. It's called a QR code. What you can do is you scan it with your phone, and it will take you to a specific web page. So it said leave a review of us right above that barcode, and that's something I thought that was pretty savvy that this restaurant was doing. But it gets even better. We sat down to have dinner, and this place was packed. Sorry, we had lunch, and the place was packed, and it was hustling and bustling. And after our meal, which was fantastic, the waitress came over to us and said, would you two like to be entered into a monthly contest? We give away a bottle of wine and a free dinner. I said to my sister, I said, well, I'm not down here all the time, but you might want to take advantage of this. So why don't we sign up? We said, okay, what do we have to do? To the waitress, and she said, all you have to do is give us your email address, and we'll send you a link to leave us a review, and you'll be entered into the drawing. So we gave her our email addresses, and before she came back with the final bill, we had already received an email with a link saying, please leave us a review, and we went and did this, and this was all before we even left the restaurant. So this was a company that saw the advantage of taking advantage of these reviews, and it was really powerful what they were doing, and it certainly impacted their bottom line because they were packed and they let people know about themselves. So why do online reviews matter to us? Well, I took a screen capture here of local business search results in Google, and you could see that these companies, there's the most reviews that anyone has is 3 reviews. And now this is important to us because if you proactively have a program in place, you can be a company that has, or a community rather, that has 20 or more reviews on Google. And imagine having 20 or more reviews when your closest competitor has 3, 2, or 1 at the most, and most people having none right now. And it's important to note that once you get over 5 reviews on these local search results on Google, you get a 5-star golden rating. I will show this to you in a minute, but it's a 5-star result that shows up. Instead of a blue link that says 3 Google reviews, you get 5 golden stars. And that stands out a lot more on the search results than just a blue link that says 3 golden reviews. And according to Bright Local, this is their latest research. They're a local research and software provider for online marketing. 79% of consumers trust online reviews as much as personal recommendations. Now that's a huge number. Almost nearly everybody trusts reviews as much as a personal recommendation. I mean, think about how valuable referrals are to your community. Reviews are becoming that important. So where exactly do reviews show up? Well, reviews show up in the search results, obviously. They show up in the paid ads. You can see here I've got a screen capture. There's 3 arrows. These first 2 arrows point to paid ads. You can see one's for placeformom.com and the other one's for caring.com. Well, these are big referral companies that represent a lot of communities and care companies around the country. They're able to show these are extensions in their ads in Google, and they're able to show these because they represent a bunch of different communities and not just one community. Now, if you're just one community operating one website, obviously this isn't going to be important, or you're not going to be able to take advantage of this. But if you're a corporation that has multiple communities around the country and you represent them all from one website, this is something you can go to your internet marketing company and say, hey, this is something we want to set up, and this will boost your click-through rates on your ads and ultimately lower your advertising costs, because Google rewards good advertising. Also, reviews show up in the local listings, like I mentioned in the previous page, and the last arrow on this screen capture. You can see this Western North Carolina Baptist home. They have 3 Google reviews. Like I said, when they get up to 5 reviews, they'll get the gold stars, just like caring.com and A Place for Mom. And this is really important because that stands out. That's people understand these results aren't paid for. They happen naturally, and there's other factors that determine these rankings, which I'll explain in just a few moments. So where else do reviews show up? They show up on specific review sites. So sites like Yellow Pages, citypages.com, Merchant Circle. These are all local business directories, and they show up. So this bottom screen capture here, you can see I've blocked out this community's name because they have 1 review, and it's a negative review. So this is a community that has a passive approach to reviews. These reviews are just happening, and unfortunately the nature of reviews is that most likely when someone is going to naturally post a review on their own, it's going to be negative because they feel like they need to. This is when they're most likely to take action on a review, and I'll address how to deal with negative reviews in just a moment. They're not something to be feared, but sometimes they do happen, and you can't please everyone. But it's important to take action when one does happen, and we will explain this in a minute. And reviews also show up on senior-specific review sites. There's a screen capture of retirementhomes.com. And Robert, would you like to comment a little bit about the reviews on retirementhomes.com?
Sure. Thank you, Kevin. So one of the things that we're doing, of course, is that we've provided free of charge to all listings on our website the ability for different communities to actually respond immediately to reviews, both positive and negative. And so, for example, that screen capture that Kevin just showed at the top there is from retirementhomes.com. And so if you're listed on our website, paid or not, and someone puts a review of you on our site, you'll get an automatic email. Now, of course, if it's a positive response or positive review, you want to thank them for that. But even if it's a negative review, it's interesting that about statistics show that about 1/3 of negative reviews, if they receive a positive response from the company, 1/3 of the customers will actually remove their initial review, and a further 1/3 will actually write an additional positive review. So either way, really, if you are engaging with the people who are posting reviews, there's an opportunity for follow-up there. And I'll discuss at the end as well, but we're actually starting a new initiative right now to help select communities in North America with different review packages. We'll send all that all that information out by email. But again, that's something I want to mention, that in terms of responding to reviews, both positive and negative, is something you can do on our site, and it's an integral part of keeping the conversation going. Sorry, continue, Kevin.
Great. And yeah, I'd just like to add that the fact that Robert mentioned responding to the statistics on responding to negative reviews helps improve your image, and that's really true, because it shows that there's humans behind your company, and that's what people like to see. So when you can, anytime you can add the human touch, it's really important. And we'll talk more about responding to both negative and positive reviews in just a moment, but it's really something you should embrace and has a big impact. So Google is giving away top advertising spots to local businesses, and these are the local search results. And in the process, they seem to be competing with the Yellow Pages. And I'd just like to stop here for a second just to talk about the Yellow Pages for a minute. There's many marketing gurus and marketing people out there who are saying, pull out of the Yellow Pages are dead, and they don't work anymore. Well, in some markets this might be the case, but in some markets they've actually are performing better, because where there used to be 30 or 40 advertisers, there's now 12 or 15, 20 advertisers. So half of the advertisers that used to be there. And in our industry, seniors and their adult children still use these big bulky directories. So it's important that if you do advertise in the Yellow Pages, to have powerful copy, have powerful offers, and good call to actions. And it's really the words you choose are going to determine whether you get 50 to 60 calls per year from that ad, or if you get 4 or 5 or 6 calls per year. So if you do advertise in the Yellow Pages, just use powerful copy, because that's really important. So back to these local business results, or local search results. They're free for local businesses right now. All 3 big search engines provide them: Google, Yahoo, and Bing. And they're essentially like a little mini website that you get to promote your business. And you can show reviews, you can add information like hours, payments accepted, a little description about your business. You can upload photos, and they're called local search results. Google calls them Google Places. There's a whole bunch of different names that people call, but I'd just like to show you, break down this screen capture I have here. So I did a search for retirement community, Springfield, Mass. Now these first 2 results, and the results on the right side, you can't really see them. These are sponsored ads. So these are paid ads. People have bid on the phrase retirement community, Springfield, Mass. It's called Google AdWords or pay-per-click advertising. Now they're paying premium price to be here. It's not cheap, and there's certain elements to you can get rewarded through smart advertising with lower click prices, but it's expensive to advertise on Google these days. It's just the nature of the beast. It's just become competitive. Google's a public company now, and it's expensive. So these actually that top 3rd one is a paid ad too. They're getting good at hiding the difference between the 2. And then starting with St. Luke's and the next 3 results, these are all the local business results. So you have St. Luke's, Springfield, Maple Hill, and Hampton House. So the first 2 results I'm going to talk about for a second, and then I'll talk about the last 2. So the first 2 have claimed their business. They have gone through the motions. They have claimed this page, and they have taken ownership of it. Now, obviously, it's Google's property, but they have claimed it, and they've claimed whatever level of ownership Google gives a local business, and they have put their URL in there. So you can see they have Mercy Cares, and then the one below it has shamass.org. So Mercy Cares is actually, out of all the people here, doing this the most correctly. It would be nice if they had reviews on this page, but you can see that it says mercycares.com/pages. Well, this is called a landing page. So they're not driving people to just the home page with this link. They're sending people to a specific page called a landing page, and your home page is great for business cards and marketing collateral, but your home page is not designed to capture leads from the internet. To capture leads from the internet takes a different approach, and I'll talk more about that in the next few slides. So the next company, Springfield Housing Authority, they're taking people to the homepage of their website. They've claimed this page. And then the next two, where you can see it highlighted in yellow, the plus.google.com. These companies have not claimed their free spot on Google yet. So what they have done, or the reason they rank here, happens to be by chance. So they have no control over the being in these two spots on this first page. And if one of their competitors in the market decided to claim their local listing page, one of these companies can be boosted out of here within a week's time. So it's really important to claim this page, and there's other factors that determine how to get a top search result. And what I'm going to talk about is these important factors. So the first two and most important are name and location. So the name of your business is, obviously it's your brand. You can't change the name of your business, but if you happen to have the name of the town your community is in your name, this is something that the search engines weigh when ranking these local business results. Again, you're not going to go changing your business name to I don't know, Springfield, Mass. Retirement Community. You know, that would be absurd, because that would just demolish or diminish your brand. So I just want to let you know that this is what the search engines use to weigh the factors that they use to weigh in results. Also, location. So location of the proximity to the searcher or the person who is making the search, and also the intent behind their search. So if they were searching for a retirement community in their town, this is something the search engines will take into consideration, or if they're looking for results in their next town. Also, they might just be searching for a retirement community, and Google will show local business results based on their IP address. So these are factors that they weigh. The next things to consider are keywords and categories. So you're giving an area to write a description about your business, and it's important to put in there keywords, important phrases that people would type into the search engine. So if you're a retirement community in Springfield, Mass., you would want to put that in your description, and this is something that helps not only Google determine and other search engines determine what your business is about. It helps your prospects determine where you are and what services you provide. And that goes the same for categories. So if you go to claim this listing, I didn't mention where to go claim this listing. You can go to google.com/places, and you can sign up there, and you can go through the motions. It's really easy to fill out this profile, and you're allowed 5 different categories when filling out this profile. So you can select different categories based on the different service types you offer. And it's important to note that the search engines are they're changing the rules on this. They used to allow you to operate with they provide suggestions as you're typing in the categories, and you only had to use one of their suggestions. Now it's important to use all of their suggestions. They're getting, because they've had to deal with a lot of spam. People would put just irrelevant keywords, and they try to stuff keywords into these categories. And Google's, one thing they're always doing is they're always evolving and combating spam. So this is something they've done to combat that. The number of reviews is another factor that determines how high up on the pages your listing ranks. So every review can be considered as extra content in the search engines. So it gives the search engines, all a search engine knows how to do is to read text. So if you have a review talking about your business, that's more content and more text that the search engine can understand about your business. And if they see a company with a lot of reviews, then that triggers to them that this must be important to people, and we must start showing this to our searchers because we want to show them relevant information. And the final thing is citations. So what is a citation? A citation is a mention of your business name, your address, and your phone number. That's what a citation is. So whether it's on a directory or in an article, having citations around the internet is important, especially in local directories and in particular senior living directories or senior care directories. So before I mentioned on the local search results to that there was a company using landing pages to drive people to. So what is a landing page? A landing page, by definition, is the first page someone lands on after they click on an ad, a listing in the search engine, or a banner ad, and it's a page that is designed to generate a response. So the nature of search engines is you have less than 10 seconds to give someone what they're showing, or they're going to click the back button. And if you don't show it to them in that time, and you don't show it in a clear and effective manner, you're going to lose that potential lead. So there's certain elements that make this a landing page effective and get a response. So first is congruence with the ad. So does your page, if someone was searching assisted living and let's say you were running an ad on Google, or your local listing showed up, and this search was assisted living, the ad or the listing said, assisted living community, well, the page that you bring them to needs to talk about assisted living. You don't want to send them to a skilled nursing page or a CCRC page, because that doesn't speak to their search. This person was looking for assisted living, and the nature of the search engines is people want instant gratification. The second is navigational ease and transparency. So is it easy to navigate on the site? Do you have a button that gives someone a call to action? Click here, download report here, call us here, get a quote, request an inquiry. Those are all navigational elements. Also, graphical substance. So do you display in a graphical format the benefits of what your community is trying to convey to people, or your company? Do you show smiling seniors, people who look like they're being well taken care of? Do you show pictures of your community? These are all important graphical elements that people need to see. Also, credentials. Any credibility logos or trust-building logos that you have, if you're part of the Better Business Bureau or any associations, these all help build credibility. Same with testimonials. These are all things that build credibility. And a lot of people say testimonials don't work, and I've had numerous conversations with people provide resistance to testimonials, but they do work. Studies have been shown that they do work. We still see them on infomercials all the time, testimonials. And whether it's on a subconscious level or not, they do work. Also, you want to provide a clear call to action. So what specific action do you want people to take? Seems like common sense, but you need to tell people what action to take. Contact us here, download this report. What is the action you want them to take? Also, provide your contact information. I can't tell you how many times I've done an audit of an internet marketing audit of a company, and I've seen people pay expensive clicks to drive people to a page, and nowhere on this page does it show how to get a hold of someone. And you have to dig through the site to find out how to get a hold of this company. Well, you're wasting valuable resources here by not providing contact information on this page. So now that we are using landing pages, it's important to track everything. And there's easy enough ways to track everything we do online or offline as far as marketing goes these days, whether it's using call tracking numbers and coupon codes down to certain old tech ways that there's a old tech way that you can ask for Shirley. Just say in the ad, ask for Shirley, and that's when someone calls, if they're asking for Shirley, where they came from. So it's important to track all your marketing activities, and one of the fundamental metrics that you need to know when you are tracking your marketing activities is the lifetime value of a customer. So you wouldn't buy a house if you didn't have it appraised. So why would you buy a customer if you don't know how much it's worth to you? How much you don't know how much to spend on that to acquire that customer if you don't know how much that customer is worth. So if you have that number determined, and I'm just going to use assisted living as an example, it's around $69,000 for the lifetime value of that customer. And once you determine that and you're tracking all your different marketing strategies, you can then determine a bunch of different numbers that you can take actionable advice on. So here you can see I have different strategies listed out. We've got Google AdWords, SEO, local listings, direct mail, newspaper inserts, and retirementhomes.com. So then I have it broken down by monthly investment. So it's important to know every single month how much you have invested in this particular strategy. And then you're tracking the leads that are coming in. So the top one, we have Google AdWords, $900 a month is invested. We got 15 leads this past month. We generated 1 new resident. Our cost per lead is $60. Our cost to acquire that resident was $900. And our profit per customer is $68,400. So that's just simply subtracting the lifetime customer value, or subtracting the investment from the lifetime customer value. And it's just a marketing number. It doesn't include any other overhead. And from this data, we can determine our true return on investment. This isn't return on investment for cost per leads or anything like that. This is actually knowing your return on investment while acquiring new customers. And you can see AdWords here has a 7,600% return on investment. Now you know these different numbers for each strategy. It's like looking at an investment portfolio, and you can determine which strategies are working and which aren't, and where to best allocate your resources. So you can see here we've got this past month direct mail and newspaper inserts. Okay, newspaper inserts didn't work at all as far as generating any new residents, and direct mail for the price, the return on investment is not as effective as everything else. Okay, so that's a lot of our budget. We've got $8,000 into these two strategies. Maybe if this isn't working in the next couple of months, we want to put some of this money into Google AdWords, any other strategy, retirement homes, SEO, local listings. That's a fixed cost. You can't put any more money into that. So you can begin to see how you can start to allocate your resources, and this is what's called improving your marketing efficiency. So over time, you get to allocate your resources in the most efficient manner possible. So I'm going to go back to reviews here, and this is a little story. I'm going to talk a little bit about negative reviews now. So 2 years ago, me and 30 of my closest friends and family members decided that we wanted to take a party bus and go to a Jimmy Buffett concert. And we're in Western Connecticut, and this concert was in Eastern Mass. It was over by Foxborough Stadium, and I was responsible for planning the event. I had to contact all these party bus companies, and if you don't know what a party bus is, it's like a luxury coach party bus that's designed for, they have it decked out with disco lights, and you're allowed to bring drinks on there, and you have a designated driver to take you to an event. So I was the one responsible. I researched about 5 or 6 different companies to look at, and I think I was just too excited about the whole event and everything that I forgot to check the reviews online. I didn't do any due diligence on reviews of these companies, and I made my decision based solely on price, and we paid for it. So the day before the event, I get a call from this company, and they say, we have to change your bus. The one that we had booked for you broke down. And I thought, oh gosh, what's happening? And they said, well, it's actually better because it's a 42-person bus, and you'll be able to have extra space. So I thought, okay, well, this worked out. This is great. Well, the day of the concert, we're all at a designated place to meet the bus, and we're all waiting. There's me and 30 of my friends and family members, and we can hear the bus coming from a mile away, and we see this thing around the corner, and it's this city bus that looks like it literally was a city bus that was spray painted white, and it was blowing black smoke out the back, and it was hilarious watching this thing come around the corner, but also struck terror in all of our hearts, because it just seemed like a nightmare. So we said, what the heck, we got to make the best out of the situation. It's too late now to do anything about it anyways. So we load up all our gear and everything onto this city bus. City buses have no storage, so everything had to come into the aisles of the bus with us, and we barely squeezed everybody and all our gear into this bus. There was no way this was a 42-person bus. It barely had 30 people who were sitting on top of each other's laps. And this was supposed to be a 2-hour ride. Well, as we're getting pulled we pull out of the parking lot, the driver says, "I can't take highways because Connecticut cops are a pain and they pull over party buses." So he has to go all back roads, and it added an extra hour and a half to the trip. And it was just a nightmare of a trip. When we get to the place and park, the driver was more interested in meeting up with friends that he had at the concert than actually doing his job. So overall, the concert worked out, and the concert was a success. But the experience with the party bus was a nightmare. And everybody who went on this bus and event swears that they'll never go back on a party bus. So the point of the story is, a week later, I was doing searches online, and I wanted to learn more about this company because I was amazed how they can be in business. Well, I found about 40 or 60 reviews on this site just bashing this company on how bad they were. And I had to do a little digging to find the information on the site, but it really, these were bachelorette parties being stood up, bachelorette parties not getting their deposit back, people arguing with the owners of the business, and it was amazing they were in business. And the story is just to illustrate to you the importance of negative reviews. And I doubt anybody on this call operates their business and community like this party bus company, but occasionally we can't please everyone, and negative reviews do happen. So what can we do when we do get negative reviews? Well, one thing is on the search engines, and at least on Google, you can flag an inappropriate review. So if you think a competitor is writing a fraudulent review, or if you have someone who wrote another fraudulent review and you feel that it's inappropriate and it should not be on your page, you can flag it as inappropriate. And what this does is it triggers an actual human being to go in and look at this review and review it. Also, if it's not on the search engines, if it's not on Google, Yahoo, or Bing, you can contact the website support and see if they can help you out and remove the fraudulent review. You could also approach the reviewer. This is a great strategy. Approach the reviewer if you know who they are, and try to handle the situation offline. And if you can usually get them to remove the review. Also, the best defense is a strong offense. And what I mean by that is to actively implement a program where you can collect positive reviews of your community. And then worrying about negative reviews is put in the back of your mind. It's not in the forefront anymore. Also, reviews help you determine flaws in the business. Like I mentioned with this party bus company, if they actually read the reviews, they can turn their business around and implement it. But there's a lot of times there's a reason a company receives reviews like that. Here, there's an interesting quote in an article on seniorhousingnews.com, and it says, as online consumer reviews on their communities grow more prevalent, so will the reviews impact their bottom lines, making them impossible to ignore. And this really is true, and I'm going to talk a little bit about a Harvard business study about something called the Yelp effect, and it actually impacted the bottom lines of restaurants. And so dealing with negative reviews. So how do you not respond? So these are things you do not want to do when you're responding to a negative review. The first is you do not want to be defensive and attack a reviewer. If you're defensive and you start attacking someone, that is not going to be good for both the reviewer, and also it doesn't look good for your community's presence. If you have underneath a negative review your reply attacking this reviewer, and believe it or not, it seems like common sense, but you see this all the time where people will write a response that's defensive and attacks a reviewer, and it doesn't necessarily represent your community and your brand in the best way. Also, that goes the same with being angry. You have to remember that your responses are going public, so you want to make this look you want it in the best light possible. Also, you do not want to ignore the review, and I don't care if it's a positive or negative review. I think simply responding to reviews is extremely powerful. You heard the statistics Robert mentioned earlier. These are powerful statistics, and when you respond or when you respond, it shows that there's human beings behind the company, and it just, everything's digital these days. It's easy to hide behind a keyboard, but if you can respond in an emotional and positive way, it really adds that human element. Also, writing a fake review. I'm going to go more into fake reviews, but the short is they are now illegal, and you do not want to write fake reviews. All right, so how do you respond to negative reviews? What are some best practices? Well, first thing would be to thank this person. Thank them for whether it's positive or negative feedback. I forget the business person who said this, but it was a quote along the lines of every review or negative review they get of someone, one of their prospects, I think I'm butchering this quote, but it was along the lines of they feel grateful for every negative review they get because it gives them information about their business and how they can correct things. Also, if you can address the concerns when you're responding, that's always shows people that you are human and that you have taken action to correct the issue that the person was originally concerned about. If it's possible, fix the problem offline. And if you can contact this person, if you know who they are, usually you can. And usually, if you ask them, they will remove the review after the problem is fixed. So these are ways to deal with negative reviews. I talked about fake reviews. So first off, fake reviews, they don't address a problem. If you are writing fake reviews, whether it's on whatever property you choose to write them on, they don't address any problems that obviously you're doing it to overcome a negative review that you've seen, and they don't address the problem at the community. And your consumers are very savvy. They can detect whether it's a fake review. I had a former employer who had negative reviews on a company called Glassdoor, and when this company found out, a couple months later, there was a bunch of positive reviews. They clearly were fake, and it's clear to a potential future employee that these were fake reviews. Now, this is in the past year, they are now illegal. The FTC considers fake reviews, illegal. And in New York, there's companies who are having to pay penalties of up to $350,000 in fines. And I forget how many companies in total are having to pay these fines, but they are now coming down on these companies. And Yelp is in fact suing a San Diego law firm for providing fake reviews on their profile. So in a moment, I'm going to explain how to get some reviews and some pretty savvy strategies. But first, where do we get reviews? Well, obviously, the first one would be ones that are going to show up in the search results. So if you can get on the big three, especially on Google Places, that's a great spot to get reviews, Yahoo and Bing. Also on senior care specific sites like retirementhomes.com. They do a lot of branding and marketing and PR to get their own traffic on their sites. So they have traffic that's outside of the search engines who happens to be your prospects. And having reviews and a full-body profile on their sites helps get in front of these prospects. Also local review sites. And which local review sites? What I recommend doing is doing some searches in your market on Google that a potential prospect would make. So I've been using the example Retirement Community Springfield, Mass. So do a search for that. See which sites show up. Do you see a listing for Yellow Pages? If you see Yellow Pages show up on the first or second page results, go claim your Yellow Page listing online. I think they have free versions. Claim that and start getting reviews there. Now, I talked about this Harvard Business Study. It was a study by Assistant Professor Michael Luca. It was for restaurants, and he did a study and determined that a 1-star increase in Yelp rating leads to a 5 to 9% increase in revenues. And that's big for a business, just for getting online reviews. Obviously, restaurants have a lot of foot traffic, and it's a decision that's made heavily based on recommendations of other people. But to a lesser degree, this happens to local businesses and in particularly retirement communities. and this is really going to be more prevalent in the industry going forward. So here's some 4 quick and dirty ways to get raving reviews. And one thing you can do is hold a quarterly contest. Give away an iPad or a Visa gift card, and tell people you're having this contest, and all they have to do is to leave a review on a specific profile that you want them to. You can send out an email. You can post flyers around your community and have them leave these reviews. And you'll be surprised what people will do for an iPad or a Visa gift card these days. And it's not invasive, and it's a quick and easy way to get people to leave reviews. Also, ask new residents and visitors and guests. So ask new residents as they come aboard. You know, the decision to move to a community it's a big decision for an adult child and the senior themselves. They've done a lot of research. They spent a lot of time researching you and your competitors, and by the time they move in, they're relieved and they're glad with their decision. Well, capture this moment and ask them to leave a review for you online. Also, another quick and easy way is to include a call to action in your email signature. So it's real easy to set up. If you do this yourself, you're going to get reviews, but also if you embrace this as an organization as a whole, you can get more reviews too. And you can rotate the different profiles. You can do this every month or every quarter, rotate the different profiles where you want people to leave reviews. Now you get reviews from not just prospects and residents and their adult children. You also get vendors that work with you and people that deal with you on a daily basis. Also, at activities and events, you know, it's easy enough these days to ask someone for a review. And if you want to take it a step further, pull out your smartphone, take a video of them, and you can upload it to YouTube. And if you title, I'll give you a quick tip. If you title that video with your service in your town, you can get that video to rank on the search results. So if you title that video, say I take a video and I titled it Retirement Community Springfield, Mass. Reviews, and then put your community's name, you can get that video to rank on the first page of the search results. And that's really powerful ways to get reviews of your communities. Also, before we go, there's a quick, easy way to monitor your reputation. And not many people know about this, but it's really easy to set up, and it's just using Google Alerts. And what it is, you go through and set up an alert on a particular keyword, and you could set up your community's name. If you're savvy, you would set up alerts for your competitors' names too. And anytime information is published about about the community's name, you get an alert sent to your inbox, and you can get it as it comes in. You can get it daily, or you can get weekly emails sent in. Now, if you're getting a bunch of emails about activities your competitors are doing, you can, in a way, reverse engineer the strategies they're doing and embrace them yourselves in your own operations. And this is a really great way to monitor your reputation and also your competitors and their activities online. So that I mentioned that's it for our presentation, but I did mention a bunch of free gifts before we get into Q&A. The first one is a search engine marketing audit. So we'll provide you with an audit that shows you the keywords and the search volume in your market, along with where your company ranks and other factors determined to get your community a top listing. I will also give you a free 30-minute marketing tune-up. There's a lot of confusion these days on what media marketing channels and strategies to be using. So if you're confused about what types of strategies to be using, you can have an outside look on what strategies to work with. Also, I have 2 really great reports for you. One is how reviews affect the way seniors and their adult children make decisions, and also 6 secrets to getting a top Google listing. And if you'd like any of those, you could send an email to info@seniormarketing.com and just title it free gifts, and we'll send those out to you. Now we have time to take on some questions. Robert, do you want to
Yes.
jump in and ask some questions?
Yes, thank you, Kevin. We have one question here. Why shouldn't you just post reviews on your own website?
I guess I'm a little, they're not talking about fake reviews, are they?
No, real, presumably.
Just real reviews? Okay. If you can, that is a great way. You know, it's just like a review is just like a testimonial. If you can collect reviews and put them on your own website, sure, that's a great strategy. But also having reviews on these third-party sites is valuable because first off, if you get it on the Google profile, you're going to get reviews that are showing up in the search results that your prospects are making. So these are people who don't know anything. They're early in their research phases, early in the research, and they're looking for, if someone's typing in retirement community Springfield, Mass, they're doing research on the different types of options in their market. And they don't know one community from the next, otherwise they would be typing in the specific name of that community to look for it. And it's important to have reviews in front of those people because that helps build your brand and your image in front of those potential people and can help convert them into leads and prospects. Now, other sites like retirementhomes.com, it's important to be on there because retirementhomes.com gets their own traffic, independent of the search engines. So there are prospects on retirementhomes.com looking for various communities in your area, and having reviews is another way to build an unbiased opinion of your community and your brand.
Okay, thank you again, Kevin. We have another question here. It's a longer one. Amazon.com marketers say that you need at least 3 reviews before people will seriously consider purchasing your new product. What do your analytics tell you about a minimum review quantity for a retirement community with a substantially larger investment? Is there a threshold?
Is there a threshold? I would say on the search results, particularly Google, once you hit the five review threshold, because it converts your blue text links into a gold star rating, I would say that would be the threshold, because that stands out so much more than just having a blue link, and that's going to increase your click-through rate, which is how many times people click through your listing versus how many times it was shown. And that really is really important. And when we see people reach the five review limit, that's really when it starts to hit that tipping point. Anything above that is really great. And obviously, it's all relative to your competitors too. If you have competitors that have 5, 6, or 10 reviews, then you need to a proportionately larger number of reviews than they do.
Okay, thank you, Kevin. Now, again, I want to just pop back to the question just before about posting a review to your own website. As Kevin mentioned, obviously 100% post reviews to your own website, but also as he mentioned that there is more value, certainly post on your own website, but I think that there's always a suspicion that people have when they see a testimonial on your website. Maybe it's, maybe it could conceivably be fake in their mind. It certainly could be wordsmithed. So I think there's a lot more value when a review appears on an independent third-party website like Yelp, Yellow Pages, Google, retirementhomes.com, and so on. Doesn't mean you shouldn't post reviews on your own site and encourage people to share their thoughts on your site, but I think that there's even more value when it's on another website. It shows that it's independent as well. So we have time just for one more question. Kevin, what would you say is the most important review site? You mentioned half a dozen of them. How should a community identify which website they should be pushing reviews to?
Okay. The most important one I would recommend starting with is Google, because that listing shows up in the search results, and like I said, search results of people who are early in their research, and if you can capture these people early in the research and get them to reach out to you first and be the one that educates them, then that carries a lot of weight. So anybody who's typing in retirement community, or your service plus your town, your local listing on Google can show up. And I say Google versus Yahoo or Bing because Google has 80% of the market share of search traffic, and that's really important. And again, these are free listings, whereas anybody who wants to advertise on these phrases has to pay anywhere from $3 up to $7 or $8 a click, depending on how they've set up their advertising campaign. But this is expensive real estate that Google is offering free right now to local businesses, and that really is I would say the most important one to start with.
Okay, thank you very much again, Kevin, for that presentation. That was Kevin Williams of SeniorMarketing.com. This presentation will be available on retirementhomes.com as well as at youtube.com/retirementhomes. The webinar recording as well will be emailed out to all registrants, so check your email box in the next couple days for that. Our next webinar will be in the new year in January, so check retirementhomes.com for information on our upcoming monthly webinars, or contact me. My info is on the right there, Robert at retirementhomes.com for all details. Have a wonderful day.